Hello and welcome to this edition of A Conversation With. I'm Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network, and we are in studio today with two guests from UMass Dartmouth. We are with Dr. Matthew Roy. He's the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Civic Engagement. There's always long titles for these things. And we have to also have Dr. Madan Annarvarjula.
That's right.
Nailed that.
Yes.
That was a lot of practice right there. He is the new Dean of the College of Business, the Charlton School of Business at UMass Dartmouth. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in.
Yes, thanks for having us.
An exciting time for the college. It's always an exciting time. There's always, with new students and new things going on, there's just, nothing stays the same, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Especially at this point, we're having open houses for the admitted students, and we are very happy with the numbers that we are seeing.
So as we record this here in March, the accepted students are already accepted? I mean, nobody's still waiting or anything like that, right?
Well, we have rolling admissions.
Oh, do you?
So,
okay.
Students can apply to UMass Dartmouth at any point in time. They would, in effect, start during a certain semester, and it might be the fall, the spring, or even the summer term.
Yeah.
But the big recruitment period is right about now.
Okay.
Yeah. And part of our message today is actually, students who are interested in active learning opportunities, think about UMass Dartmouth.
Right.
Yeah, especially the experiential learning model that we are trying to incorporate within the Charlton College of Business.
Talk about the College of Business too. I mean, when you just say business.
That's right.
Okay, it's business. But there is so much more to that. I mean, when you look at the degrees that you offer, there's a lot of things that business encompasses.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about that.
Sure, thank you. Yes, so Charlton College of Business offers both undergraduate degrees as well as master's programs in business. So in the undergraduate space, we offer a wide umbrella of business administration, but within that, the students can major in business functionalities such as finance, accounting, management, marketing, information systems, and so on and so forth.
And he left my field of management out.
And then in the MBA, at the master's level, we offer a big MBA program, which is our most popular graduate program. But we also offer master's programs in accounting, technology management, business analytics, healthcare management, and so on and so forth.
When you apply to the School of Business, and let's face it, because you guys have been in education a long time, there's 18-year-olds, and I'm just using those as examples.
Yes.
They have no idea what they want to do.
Correct.
So when you apply to the School of Business, do they have to pick right off the bat?
No. In fact, we don't mind if they don't pick. They can come in as business undeclared, which means that they are business, they want to be in the business school, but they don't know what major they're going to be pursuing, which is not a bad idea in itself, because that gives them the time to explore. They can declare their major as late as second semester of their sophomore year. Until then, they can explore different areas and see what kind of a major piques their interest. And in the first year, they do a lot of university requirements that will actually set the stage for their 4-year undergraduate degrees, such as writing, communication, verbal and written communication, teamwork, mathematics and English and sociology and so on and so forth. In addition, they also take some business classes. So the first 2 years are meant to give them that opportunity to explore and then decide on something. So they look at the functional fundamentals, and then they will say, okay, you know what? Marketing excites me, and I like to make a career in marketing. And throughout, there are advisors who will help them to understand what field matches their personality or their interest or their aptitude and so on and so forth.
For a long time, I used to advise students, and my advice to them would be, try and find something that you absolutely love.
Right.
And then if you find later that you're not employable because you decided in that particular major or that particular field, then you do a master's degree in a different field where you might be more employable. But go for your dream job when you're 18 years old, as you mentioned.
And how valuable is a bachelor's degree in business? What is that? What doors does that open for a person?
Well, today, whether it's a for-profit organization or a non-profit organization, it has to be run like a business, meaning there must be strategic planning, there must be implementation, they should worry about a project management approach, they should hire people, they have to assess and evaluate people, they have to build connections and raise money and so on and so forth. So what is taught in business is very relevant to pretty much any field that they would be entering. So that is the wide appeal of a business degree as opposed to any other degree.
And I can complement what Madan's saying in terms of, we have a lot of students who might, major in history or art history or biology, but or engineering, but they'll do a minor in business because they realize that that skill set is going to help them.
Absolutely. And what does the master's do? I mean, you have the bachelor's. A lot of people don't even get their, they don't have the same bachelor's as they have a master's degree. What does that master's degree do?
Sure. So a bachelor's degree is the foundational aspect of business education. A master's degree pushes them to a much more advanced level of understanding. So there is a lot more applied aspects that they'll be learning. So they will be able to, for example, in healthcare management, that's a master's degree, they will understand the business concepts as they apply to the healthcare industry. So they'll be able to do analytics of the healthcare businesses, for example. They will learn the analytics as well as the strategic management part at a much higher level. So master's is supposed to challenge and inform the students at a higher level of knowledge, whereas bachelor's degree is fundamental.
Yeah.
So I love your question, Jim, in that when I was a student, much younger, I went straight through. I have my undergraduate degree, which was a dual major in management and in finance, and then I got a master's degree without really any significant business experience. Now, what ended up happening during that portion of my education when I was in master's degree classes, I was learning a lot, not only from the instructor, but from my fellow students who had a lot of business experience. So what we will see is, in those master's classes, a large percentage of the students quote unquote, come back to school. So they're out in the workforce, they're still working full time. Right. And maybe they're taking 2 or 3 classes in a master's program, in order to get that master's.
And it's different too, because when you get that master's degree, the classes are, I don't want to say set up different, but they know that people are working full-time. It's not like they're full-time students, so that the professors and the advisors and everybody, there's for lack of a better word, adjustments to help the students succeed.
Correct.
The one thing that we're trying to do is, and Madan alluded to this, not just in the College of Business, throughout the university, is to drive down to the undergraduate level these real-life learning opportunities that not only challenge the students' knowledge, skills, and abilities, but also benefit the community. So, and obviously, as the students become more mature in their education, so considering a first-year student versus a senior, or a senior versus a master's level student, the difficulty or the intricacies in the projects also grow.
Right.
They can produce more.
Yes.
One last question. We talked about community, and I want to get in that because that's what we want to focus on. But I'm curious, and maybe this is more directed to you, Matt. You hear a lot of talk about the value of a college education. Has it been difficult attracting students, or do you see that students want to get that college education, or are they doing other things? And you would know based on the cycles that you're seeing, but just in general, you hear a lot. What's a college education worth for the price that you pay?
So I maybe have a little bit of a roundabout answer here, but what we're seeing in higher education, and this is, Mother and I were talking with you earlier about the fact that we've been in higher ed over 25 years now. What we've seen is that there are very few students who will study a field just for knowledge's sake, and that wasn't the case 25 years ago. But they and their parents have, and rightly so, have become consumers in terms of So what is this education going to do for me in terms of career? How is it going to launch me economically? Things of that nature. So I used to also direct the Career Center at UMass Dartmouth, and we keep statistics, and we can say that 95% of our graduates within 6 months have either full-time employed or full-time in a graduate program.
Yes.
And the average starting salary for those students is somewhere between $60,000 and $75,000.
For bachelor's degree. For master's, it is upwards of $95,000 to $105,000.
That's,
Not bad investment if you
No.
come to think of it, especially a public school education.
correct. Yep.
Now,
Go ahead.
more directly to your question, what we have also seen is that certain majors have shrunk,
Yeah.
and some colleges and universities have disappeared.
Yeah. No, there has been a lessening of higher education institutions.
UMass Dartmouth has always been known for its strengths in engineering, in textiles, in nursing, and now one of the reasons why we're here, business.
It's
But,
business. Sure.
And you were just alluding to as well, too, I mean, when you were talking about the majors and whatever, a business degree can translate to a lot of different fields.
A lot of different fields, and that is the appeal of business degrees, and that's why nationwide the business degrees have an appeal that several other fields don't. That's because it is versatile in its applicability, and UMass Dartmouth is number 2 in the state for social mobility. So the type of students that we produce, they're highly successful. They pursue career paths that are very close to or relevant to the degree that they have gotten. And a lot of our students, a significant majority of our students are first-gen students. And so it makes a huge difference. In fact, I call it the force multiplier, because when they graduate and they get a job, not only do they benefit, but their parents, their siblings, and some of their community friends, they all benefits.
Well, your best advocates are your students.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not,
True.
It's, those are your best marketing tools.
Absolutely.
Of those, and it doesn't have to be a kid. It can be a
Correct.
50-year-old whatever who just
Yes.
went, like you just said, went back to school.
Yes.
Those are your best marketing
Correct.
tools.
And they are very happy with the type of education they receive. Just this morning, one of our alumni students who graduated last year, he came over. I mean, I met him in some events that happened over the last fall, and he came over and he said, "Professor, I just got a job." This is an international student who finished his master's in business analytics. He just came over and said, "Professor, I just received a job offer in Arizona as a financial analyst for a hospital group." And his degree was in MBA with business analytics. And he was telling me all the type of stuff that he will be doing as part of his job, and how relevant and how close it is to the skills that he received as part of his MBA. And that is so heartening to me.
That makes it all worthwhile.
I mean, some of the most successful companies in the United States and the world are recruiting our students.
Yes.
We have graduates that are working at Google, at Pfizer, you name it, they're IBM, you name it, they're working there. One of the things that UMass Dartmouth students bring, and you'll appreciate this, Jim, being a local guy, is the blue-collar approach to things. So, hey, you give me a challenge, I'm going to roll my sleeves up and I'm going to find a way to meet that challenge.
Talk about a sec too, and one of the big things when we talk about UMass Dartmouth, and you've kind of alluded to it, and I think you as a new dean, relatively new, you being there for a while, different perspectives, but the sense of community. UMass Dartmouth as an institution is so important to the communities.
Absolutely.
Not just New Bedford, Fall River, but you're talking, all the way from Wareham to the Rhode Island border and even beyond. But and this is where we wanted to talk about today is UMass Dartmouth is part of the community.
Correct.
Talk a little bit about that from your standpoint, being there for 24 years, and talk about that, or beyond 24 years, but talk about that from just being there for, as you said, 7 months.
Sure.
So let me jump in first.
Please.
I'll give you kind of like a broader view, and then we'll drill down on the College of Business. So any state institution has a mission to serve the sons and daughters of that state. Now, when
I would argue that even in this area, it's even more important,
Oh, absolutely.
your roles.
It's the only
You know-
major university.
you're definitely not arguing.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement.
Yeah.
You know, and the local community has not been quote unquote the recipient per se, but co-educators with us. In other words, the challenges that the community brings to our students help our students to learn more. And the knowledge, skills, and abilities that our community members bring and explain to our students make them co-educators in this process. So any state institution has that mission. Now, we talked earlier about a mutual friend, Dr. Jean McCormick, the former chancellor. When she was chancellor at UMass Dartmouth, she made it very clear that we should have a clear outreach mission with respect to not only engage scholarship, which is our faculty doing research that benefit the community. We've got an incredible example right here in New Bedford with SMAS and scallops and that whole industry. But also with our teaching, that our faculty should in fact be working with community members to actively find engaging projects and challenges that our students can work on, and therefore the students learn more, the community benefits from the project. And all of our 7 colleges and institutions have faculty that are in fact doing this. I personally trained over 150 of our faculty in best practices in community-based learning.
Yeah.
From your standpoint,
From my
being
standpoint,
new, you know?
yes, and being new, and I'm also exploring different opportunities that we can serve the community. But beyond that, it is also a stated mission of College of Business to be able to improve our social impact. Basically, we want to convey to our students, and we want to train our students that, look, you can be successful and you can do well by doing good in the society. And we would like to measure the quality of our business education by the type of impact that we have on the society, not just on the students who graduate, but also on the society. So that's one of the reasons why we would like to, go around and talk to people and see how we can help them. Because as Matthew alluded to, it's a win-win kind of a situation wherein the companies and the clients benefit from the services that we provide at no cost to them. And also the type of experience our students gain by working on real-life projects, by learning by doing.
Give some examples of those projects so
Sure.
that people have an understanding of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So we do some which are for-profit company type of projects, business type of projects. And then Matthew will tell you a lot about the service learning opportunities that he has championed at UMass Dartmouth for several years. So from the business school point of view, we help our students to talk to the companies, understand some problems that the companies are facing, such as they would like to find a distributor for their products in a different market. They want to see how to enter a particular market because there are several options. They can export to that country, or they can actually have a distributor, or they can have their own company there, and so on and so forth. And then in addition, we also try to help companies come up with a business plan that they can take to the bank and seek some capital. We also do some training programs for companies that can't afford the big training companies, like human resources.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but we're not talking just big companies. You're talking small companies too.
Absolutely.
It runs the gamut.
Correct. And they sometimes may not have the resources to go and hire big box companies to train them.
Right.
Whereas we provide the training in human resource management, economic development opportunities, entrepreneurship, project management, leadership training, and so on and so forth. And we have trained faculty, we have trained students who are willing to do this, and in the process also learn a lot.
So Madan mentioned some excellent business examples, but he also mentioned that I have a long history here, so I can think of a couple of other business examples that he didn't mention. So we have accounting classes that help folks with their taxes.
Exactly.
It's called the Volunteer Income Tax
VITA program.
Assistance, or VITA. We work with the Community Economic Development Corporation, the CEDC in New Bedford, to do that. We also have personal finance courses that have gone into schools and taught kids about both the pluses and minuses of interest rates and loans and how to invest and things like that. So he gave some great company examples, but community-based organizations, government organizations, nonprofits, business faculty and students are working with them as well.
And that experience for students is invaluable because they can put that down.
Absolutely. Yes.
For a resume or
Correct.
for a job application down the road.
Sure.
And the other thing it does, again, most of our students here, being first-generation students, do not have the network in order to find that first job. Once they get the first job, they do very well. Yeah. But when they walk into these companies and they do a project and the folks that are there say, hey, wait a minute, the student shows up every day, the student's very smart, the student is interacting well with our current workforce, let's offer them an internship to start, or let's offer them a position right away.
Because they are able to see the student in action without having to invest a whole lot of time and money. And so it's a very pleasant outcome. A lot of times these company partners, they get interested in the type of work that the students are doing, the type of commitment they have, and they turn around and make them job offers. And what's not to like in it, right? For our
and I
students.
used, as I mentioned to you folks, I wanted to make sure I was clear because I know that we at Cable Access used your students for a survey that we did about 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, where they surveyed the community about what we offer, what they see. It was a lengthy process to take. And it was funny because we got the information, and when we went into the contract negotiations, we had that information. But it was interesting is that one of the students afterwards called me up and asked me for a reference. He was going for a job, and he's like, would you give me a reference? Sure. Absolutely. I mean, the students were great, but it just shows that's a personal example for me about what the college does.
Jim, I'm also sure, I'm certain, that those students learned from you and others here in this studio at Cable Access. You become a co-educator in that process. Yeah. They learned a lot about this business over and above that survey.
Yes. It's important, obviously, for the community to know that. So how are you folks, how are we getting out there? How are we getting those students that experience? Because in this climate, there are a lot of businesses that need help.
Exactly.
So that's one of the reasons why we're here, to let folks know that we have opportunities, and no challenge is too big or too small. And when Gene McCormick started the Center for Civic Engagement, which I now direct, the focus was on making connections with the community such that we could maximize the learning for the students, but also maximize the benefit to the community. So if you're sitting out there and you happen to see this show and you say, oh geez, my nonprofit or my for-profit or my mom and pop business could use help with X, Y, Z. Or my school, by the way, we have a lot of examples.
You talked about the school.
Yeah, we have a lot of examples of schools or legal issues. Our law school is very much involved with the community and with legal clinics and things. You have an issue that you think a faculty person with their research or a faculty person leading students might be able to help you with, then reach out to us.
And it's interesting because we're a government entity, and the school took us as well.
Sure.
So I mean, a government or
it doesn't
quasi
matter.
or something like that can also use
absolutely. And
the resources.
And again, it's free. First of all, this service is free. And the second thing that I would like to emphasize is that UMass Dartmouth is a very well diversified higher education provider. We have an engineering school, we have a visual and performing arts school, we have a law school, we have a business school, and we have a College of Arts and Sciences. So the opportunities are very, very wide. So for example, if a company, let's say they are just starting off and they have a wonderful prototype, but they don't know how to brand it in the marketplace so that people will remember when they need them. We can help them with the marketing and branding part. Let's say they want to fine-tune their design. Our engineering school and our CVPA, the Visual and Performing Arts, the design studio there, can help them improve the design. The law school can talk about the patents and the legal issues and copyrights and so on and so forth. So it's almost like a one-stop shop for a business that would like to understand how they can succeed in that line of business. And we can do it.
Let me give you a couple of examples of not too small, not too large. So we have music faculty who have their students teaching middle school kids how to play guitar and piano. We just last semester had 2 faculty, one from the College of Engineering and one from the College of Visual and Performing Arts, who collaborated with the city of Fall River to redesign that neighborhood, brand new neighborhood where Route 79 used to be. And so these students design what that neighborhood should look like, what should be in it, like a community center and a public park, and it was not only sustainable but aesthetically pleasing. And they presented that to the mayor of Fall River, the city planner, and the consultant on the job. And many of those ideas are now coming to fruition.
We got about 3 minutes left, but I want to make sure that we get time for folks to want to contact you and want, who've seen the show and want to talk about it. How can they get in touch with you? What should they do?
So go ahead, Madan.
Yeah. So we have a form. I mean, they just need to contact us at the College of Business. They can say the dean at the Charlton College of Business and University of Massachusetts at Dartmouth. It'll come to me. And I will be able to route these questions or the needs to different faculty members. And also, depending on the level of work involved, we can include either the master's students or the undergraduate students and the faculty. That's the first step. Then we will send them a form, and that they can, or maybe we can call them or we can go to them and sit and write down a little bit of the company profile and the type of problem or the business challenge that they're facing. And then we will give them certain deliverables. Okay, these are the deliverables, this is the timeline, and this is what we can provide for you, right? And then we will also sign a non-disclosure agreement with the companies so that our students accidentally do not share that confidential information with other people. Because we want our students to learn how to preserve the confidentiality of the client.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's real world.
So we do all that. Then we will invite them to our class with the faculty member. We will assign certain groups of students, and that group will work with that particular company on a regular basis. We also have a company liaison working with the faculty member. And that liaison will make sure that the students are keeping in touch with the company on a periodic or a regular basis. And at the end of the semester, we will give them not only a written report, but we will also do a presentation of the project and the consulting report that we have prepared.
We got a minute to go. I just want to make sure that people have the contact information for you folks.
So perhaps the easiest thing to do would be to Google Ladue Center for Civic Engagement or Matt Roy or Madan Annarvarjula. But the other thing that you can do is email me on any questions that you might have, business related or non-business related, for-profit, non-profit, and that's mroy@umassd.edu. And I'm saying email me partly because my name and email is so much easier than Madan.
That's right. We're just fine, but we are good friends. He's going to contact me, and like I said, no project is small and no project is big. And if we cannot do it, particularly in that particular college, we can always contact and put you in touch with the other colleges that can possibly support you.
Thanks very much for coming on. I appreciate it, taking your time out of your day.
Thank
Good
you
stuff.
very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jim.
That's going to do it for this edition of A Conversation With. I'm Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.